Now, I'm not here today to talk to you about subpar cheerleading, but rather one of the most widely recognized protest symbols of all time. The peace sign. So, for its 50th anniversary in 2008, BBC put out an article about the peace sign, but the author felt the need to preface it by saying that this symbol had been adapted, attacked, and commercialized. It's become so ubiquitous that we rarely think anything of it, but it was drawn by Gerald Holton with such a sense of urgency at a time when the whole world was in despair. And it's standing the test of time proves its power, but our ignorance to its true meaning dilutes its significance. Symbols can be powerful, but only if you know what they mean. In 1958, British artist Gerald Holton designed the symbol for the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament, also known as CND. Their website states, CND campaigns nonviolently to achieve British nuclear disarmament, but we recognize that Britain's nuclear weapons are only a small part of the problem, so we also campaign for a global nuclear weapons ban. And the Library of Congress archives show that this mission has been constant. On August 6, 1945, the first atomic bomb was dropped by the US on Hiroshima. This began a widespread fear of nuclear weapons, which only grew exponentially as more countries began to develop more bombs. So, in 1958, the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament was formed, and they held their first march from London to a weapons factory in Aldermaston, which, according to Peace in Our Time, a paper by Rachel Raudenbush of Drexel University, was 3 days and 50 miles long. So the marchers needed something to unite them along this arduous journey, and that's what led Gerald Holton to draw the peace sign for them. So he took his inspiration from the N and D semaphore signals for nuclear disarmament. Semaphore is an international system of flagging with a movement coordinating to each letter. And according to the Australian government, the movements are supposed to go in a circle of the arms. So if you look at the symbol, you can see the circle, the N, and the D. But Gerald Holton writes that this was not his sole inspiration. He said, I was in despair, deep despair. I drew myself, the representative of an individual in despair, with hands palm outstretched outwards and downwards in the manner of Goya's peasant before the firing squad. I formalized the drawing into a line and put a circle around it. However, Ken Caulsbun, author of Peace, Biography of a Symbol, and a friend of Holton, says that the artist later considered inverting the symbol because he considered despair to not really be appropriate. He claims he thought peace was something that should be celebrated. In fact, the semaphore sign for U, in unilateral, depicts flags pointing upwards. Mr. Holton was all for unilateral disarmament. And after this first march with the symbol, everyone from scientists who understood the impact of nuclear weapons to religious leaders who were concerned about morality got involved with the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament. But in the mid-1960s, nuclear disarmament as an issue was mostly replaced by US opposition to the Vietnam War. But the ND symbol was adopted by the American Student Peace Union, which brought it across the pond and established it as an icon of the 60s anti-war protests. And then again, in the 1980s, during the Reagan administration, the US began increasing its nuclear power even more. So the Campaign for Nuclear Disarmament symbol made a rather appropriate comeback at protests in both the US and other impacted countries. The United States had their cruise and Pershing missiles aimed at Europe, and the book Transnational Protests and Global Activism says that these were what really jarred people to draw from those previous movements and take collective action once again. The CND is still active today, and membership swells at times of distress, but their symbol remains a constant beacon of hope for peace. Symbols are not arbitrary. Before you slap one on a Macy's ad campaign or preteen glow-in-the-dark jewelry, please consider where it comes from and what it is meant to convey. Using symbols arbitrarily dilutes their meaning, but using them appropriately and understanding them gives them more power, and that's the power to make a change. So if you truly believe in peace, adopt that on the inside, and on the outside, don the nuclear disarmament symbol with